Good morning, members. You are all most welcome for this session, and we are glad that our lecturers and admins have also joined, as well as the library team. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for the opportunity you've granted us. And as we are going to undertake this session, we pray that you settle us in well, and even the environment where we are stationed, the computers or the phones, the internet and the power we are utilizing, everything to remain stable until the end of the session. We put into your hands colleagues who are still struggling to join, make them through so that they cannot miss what all we are going to handle today. We've prayed believing in your Son Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
You are all most welcome. The library team present, the team from the faculty, you are most welcome. The lecturers, the assistant academic registrar, the administrative assistant, you are all most welcome. So today's session has 3 different parts. And we have the first module. We are going to look at the e-resources, how we can access our online library. Then we shall switch to in-text citation and referencing. And then lastly, we shall look at plagiarism. For us to access our resources as a university, we go to when we visit the main page of the university, on the menu, we have the library. And the library, the moment you move your cursor there is a drop down, which leads you to e-resources. So the moment you click on e-resources, it will take you to a page of this nature, where we have several databases. However, we've created a reference guide for these resources so that you don't run through all these databases, some of which don't even comply to your demands. So as the faculty, we have the databases. We've categorized them. For the ebooks, there is Oxford University Press, we usually call it OUP, and then we also have EBSCOhost. Those are for ebooks. However, EBSCOhost has both ebooks and articles. Then we have the subscribed journals. We have GOLI. That one is managed by ICC and the ICJ. That's International Court of Justice and International Criminal Court, and other legal agencies at the international level. Then we have the Gruter's journals. It has articles, but also with some few books. Then we have our own, the WOLI, which I know the councils who are in here, they are very aware and how useful it is. And then we also have Wiley Online Library. Then we have Myloft, which is a proxy for off-campus when you are not on the university network, which you can use. But this, you'll have to share with us your details, and then we'll create for you an account. We have daily keys on in the library. You can pick your details, and then we can create for you an account so that you can be able to access the same databases. Off-campus mainly helps you that when you are using your personal data or elsewhere not in the university vicinity, you are able to access these databases without blocking you or requesting you to pay a certain amount of money. So in case you need assistance, the librarians, they are available. There is Rachel and Derek who serve in the law library, and myself in case you fail to get in touch with them, but they're always available. So to go back to our list here of databases, we are going to navigate EBSCOhost, and then when you move to page 2, that's where we have Oxford University Press. And then for the journals, we shall sample, not all. We shall look at Woolly. And then we can also look at Goli. So to start with EBSCO, when you are going to access the ebooks, we have two categories of ebooks. There are those which are fully PDF, and then we have those which you can read using a software called Adobe Dictate Editions. It's a book reader. And for those ones, you borrow maximum 84 days, and you can be able to read it offline. But you should have that software installed on your laptop or desktop, but it also has an app which you can install on your phone. But we are going to do that as well. So let's start with the constitutional law as our search. So when we search for results, in general, it will give you 31,000 results plus, indicating ebooks first. However, we have what we call filtering. So you can filter by source type. If you're interested in academic journals, there are 17,000 on the same subject. If you need ebooks, there are 3,000. Magazines, news, reports, and more. There are even dissertations, which you can be able to access. I understand our students are still in year 1, but as they approach year 3, they will need also these. And then we have other books, government documents, conference materials, trade publications, and literature review. So for us, we're interested in ebooks. We shall select the books and then apply. So the number has reduced to 3,861. Now, if we need the first book, I understand in law, usually you don't, year of publication is important, but not much. So we can leave it at relevance instead of indicating newest date, because we can sort this and we look at the newest date. Now, when you look at the newest date, it might be newest, but not in line with your search strategy, which is constitutional law, and you can see what is here. The title is A Digital Europe for Citizens. So we shall go back and look at relevance because that is our target. So for this book, they are giving us options. We can download it as a PDF. So usually EBSCO will first display the book online, and then they'll give you a table of content. So it's upon you to decide whether you want to just download a chapter within a part or to download a full part, depending on your interest. If you need a full book, you go to full download. And then they'll still pop you with the chapters. So you select full download. Now, for this particular book, this is what I was talking about. They are telling us sign in your EBSCO account. So you click on sign in, and I understand many of you may not be having accounts. So what you do, don't fill in here. You go to sign in with Google. As Uganda, we are accessing via Google. So then you go to your email, you pop in your Gmail account. So then you can see the page for accessing the book has changed. And then they are telling me I can borrow. So you can borrow maximum to 84 days, depending on your interest. So for this book, I understand our semester takes all these 84 days. Those are almost 2.5 months. So I can say that I will not need the book for all those days, but I'll need it for maybe 20 days. I'll select the 20 days. And then you need to have Adobe Dictate Editions. If you don't have it, you can open it in a new tab and you get that solution. If you have a MacBook, you can use the Macintosh edition. If you have a Windows, you can use the Windows edition. If you have a smartphone or tablet, you can use either App Store or Apple gadgets or Android gadgets. You go to your Play Store and then download it and install it. If you have a challenge with installing a software, you can get in touch with our Digits team, or in your other place of work, if you have an IT person, you just guide him or her on what you're interested in, then it will be installed. So if I don't tick in the box, it means I don't have Adobe Dictate Editions, and the download button will be faint, will not be active. Yes, I do, then I'll download. Now for the ebooks, to download them, your bandwidth has to be very strong, because if it's not strong enough, you may not be able to download the book. It might show you an error, but usually the error is a result of slow bandwidth. So after that, I'll close and then I'll go to my downloads. So when I go to my downloads, I'll find an item here for my book. I'll just double click on it, and then it will open Adobe Dictate Edition's book reader, and then it will start downloading the book, which I'll be able to access. So it's downloading the book. The table of content you are viewing in the background. It's the last one which I looked at last time, but now it's loading. Now it depends on the strength of the bandwidth, as I said earlier. If it is strong enough, it will take just a minute or 2 minutes, and then we shall be able to view the book. Now, after downloading it, you can access it offline. However, the option of accessing it online is also stays on. The same applies with articles. If I needed articles, now with EBSCO, you may not get straight. The articles will be there, but they may not have a complete info as the book, because the book will be straight on that. Let's put here legal. Now search for legal methods. I'm using the course units which you are handling this semester with the students, because even students were organizing to meet them. So when we search for legal methods here, before filtering, we're having 4,276 results. Some are ebooks. Now this one, you can look at it, Nigerian legal methods. Someone will just be, will just switch off the moment sees that it's from Nigeria, because they're expecting something within Uganda. But I think as Uganda, we've not published. So now if here I'm interested in articles, I'll just click on academic journals and apply. So I'll be able to get the legal method articles here. And then there are a number of them. The database is organizing them per relevancy. By default, it displays 10, but you can select 50 so that the list is long. Then we have the tools, whereby you can be able to share these 3 dots here for each item. You can be able to share. So you can share the article on your Google Drive, on your OneDrive. You can create a link. Now for lecturers, if you need students to access some of these materials, you don't need to download it and send it to their email. You can just create a link, copy it and paste it and share it with them in their WhatsApp group. Or if you want to keep it yourself, you can also, or share it with the colleagues you teach with. You can put it in your Google Drive, or you can send an email. For example, you have an email for the class rep. You just send an email. So this particular article will be sent to the students. The same applies with the books. You can be able to do the same. Let's see the book here. Right. So then if you want to download, you can go to access. If you want to access it online or access a PDF, still you can open a PDF and download it for yourself. So that's how you can be able to access EBSCO materials. Let's check and see whether our book is complete. Not yet. I hope it will. Network is slow. We're almost there. Okay, so our book is here. Constitutional Law. It's edited by E&D Loveland. So if I want to just run through the pages, I can run through them like this. However, there's a table of content on the left-hand side. When we go to the table of content, there are parts, and each part has a chapter, and each chapter has a section. So if I want something on the basics, I'll click on it, and then I'll be able to look at the basics, the basic idea. They are there. If I want to look at some principles, still I'll be able to look at the principles, the value of the rule of law. Okay. Then on the right-hand side of the page, up here in the corner, you can fit on the page, or you can select the actual size depending on your site, or you can zoom it. So when you zoom, depending on your site, you can zoom it more further, and then you can be able to read this properly. Now, when you go back to your library, you realize that the book we've just downloaded has 19 days and 23 hours because we selected 20 days. Then we have others which are expired. So the expired ones, if I need to access them, I have to go back to EBSCO and download them. Then there is one here which has 15 days remaining. So that's how, and even on the mobile device, you'll be able to view your page like this after downloading the material. So you don't need internet after downloading it. And when they are giving you the number of days, they don't exclude that this is a weekend, this is a public holiday, because it is system generated and controlled by the system. Okay, so now let us look at other databases. Oxford Scholarship. Now, Oxford Scholarship, for it, you can, the difference it has with EBSCO, for it, you can browse. So when we talk about browsing, is going through the major subjects or disciplines and their subsections, but in alphabetical manner. So when we go by subject and we click on law, you'll appreciate that we have all this on law, arbitration, civil law, company and commercial law. So since you are teaching constitutional law this semester, and I saw something on criminal law as well. So for example, if it is constitutional law, where you see a pointer, it means the list is longer. If I want to look at maybe local government law, I'll open and then I'll look at the items which are there. Then when I go back here, if I want to look at contract, I'll open contract. If I want to look at criminal law has criminal procedure, criminal evidence law, sentencing and publishing, rather than punishment. So if I want to look at civil procedure, I'll open it in another tab, and then the database will display for me the items. Where you see the padlock unlocked in green, it means they have access. However, we have to modify on the left-hand side of the page. You can modify. If you want full text, you can select that. And then availability, whole content I have access to. And then you can see it has books. There are only 9 books. There are 112 chapters. And then when you go down here, however much we are looking at local government law, it has breaked it down. Are you looking at intellectual property law? Are you looking at land society? Then when you go to, it keeps on breaking it down. Then you can also select the period, and a month, the year and a month. And then when you update, the database will display. So now we have 169 results on local government law, which we have access to. And then these are books. So you can read the abstract before you download. This was published in 2002 by Rosalind Malcolm and John Pointing. So now if we need to access the full book, we can right hand click on the title, open it in a new tab. That is if we are still interested in the list here. And then we shall go to the book here. And then we have what we call the digital object identifier, the DOI. So now this book has its main identifier, but for books under Oxford Scholarship, you can only download chapter by chapter. So you can see the whole book, we have access to it, but if you need it, you download chapter by chapter. For example, if I need the regulatory framework, I'll open it. And when you come here, I'll be able to download a PDF. I'll be able to pick the citation. So I'll select a format which I'm using. LIS works hand in hand with Mendeley, Papers, and Zotero. So the citation will go straight out to my account if it is open for Mendeley. Then I can share. I can share by email and with the students, or you can just share with them this DOI. For example, if I copy it, paste it in another tab here, it will take me straight away to that particular chapter, because it's for this particular chapter, however much we have the main DOI for the whole book. Then when I click on PDF, I'll be able to download a PDF online, which I'll be in position to download offline and use it forever and ever. So this is the chapter, but it's still online, so I can be able to download it offline and save it maybe on a desktop. I can give it the file name of the chapter, or I can leave it like that and then just save it. So that's how we can be able to access Oxford Scholarship. Now you can also search, however much what we did was to browse. I can decide that, okay, I'm going to search. Let me search for criminal procedure. I'll go in the search box here. And then they are giving me 390,065 results on criminal procedure. However, I don't want to be too excited. I'll first select full text and then also select all content I have full access to. Also, whether done, the numbers have dropped at least 1,000 below. So we have now we have 38,823 results which you have access to, and these are all books in line with the criminal procedure, because that is my search strategy. However, they break it down. If I'm looking at it in terms of law, they've broken it down here. Under international law, there is public international, private international law. But even under public international, you can see we have human rights. There are 797 international courts and tribunals, international criminal law, international economic law, use of force, war, peace, and neutrality. So in brackets, there are the number of results. And when you look here, now public international law has so many different segments here. So if I need, for example, law of the sea, of course, in Uganda, we are landlocked. This may not be so important to our students unless when they are going to practice it elsewhere at international level. Then if I'm looking at settlement of disputes, there are 69 books. So the moment I select that, the database will filter. However much my main search was on criminal procedure, but now I'm settling with the settlement of disputes, and there are 69 books. And then if I need to change the date, for example, I may say I need from 2005 January to 2026. I know it may not give me a book for 2026, but I'm teasing it. That would be possible if it was an article. So now this is what it's giving me. I remain in the range of 69 results, meaning that my 69 results, they are all published within that range, because I selected 2005 to 2026. Then I would start on the business of visiting each book and find how to and download as much as I need. So that is Oxford Scholarship. Then I talked about, on our list here of e-resources, I talked about Goli. Goli, however much we've categorized it under e-journals, but it also has e-books. So for Goli, the moment you go to the page, you don't need to log in. You just search for what you are interested in. For example, I can search for, let me see which other question here. We have law of contract. Let me search for law contract. Oh, spelling was wrong. Will not give me what I want. Okay, so it's giving me 56,472 results, and these ones are categorized. Some are journal articles, book chapters, books, and so on. So if I'm looking at books, I'll select books. So the books are 8,800. Oh, this one we don't have full access to it. You can only read it online. So I'm seeing here many of the books, we can access them online. Let me unselect and select the journal articles. So the articles are 41,000. So the articles you can be able to download, they are those ones which are having a PDF. For example, I have consumer readiness legislation, simplifying or subverting the law of contract. So I can be able to download this. I'll open it in another tab. Then there is also another one here. Then on the left-hand side, we have different icons here. Permanent link. Now this permanent link is the link which you can copy and share with students in their WhatsApp group. For example, as a lecturer, you've been checking for the articles or the materials which students can also read and make their own notes. You can just copy that and share with them, so they will be able to, it will straight away take them to this page, and then they'll be in position to download. Then it has the citation styles here, only that I'm not seeing a Scholar, which usually as law students use, but they have some of these citation styles here. Then you can email, you can send an email, and then the students will be able to download on their own or with colleagues. Then we have more actions here. It is connected to Zotero, ReefWorks, is a bibliography, EndNote, and so on. So these are referencing tools. So let's see our articles. One is here. It is still online, so we can download it. So our article is here. Consumer readiness legislation. So we've been able to get it from here. Then lastly, we have on e-resources, we have the Huli. Now Huli, you can be able to search, but you can also visit the different content here. For example, if I'm looking at the judgments in the Supreme Court or in the Court of Appeal or Constitutional Court of Uganda, or I'm looking at the High Court, the divisions under the High Court, and there's a specific. Now, since students are doing criminal law, I know at one moment they may need this. For example, I can look at the criminal division, and then the items they have there up to 2026. So I'll click on 2026 if I need the latest, and the case is here. So if I want to open this case, I'm opening it in another tab because I might be interested in other cases. The platform will first pop in to find out whether you're not a robot, and then you'll be in position to download. So the student will be able to take this on his or her own. So lecturers, in case students are struggling and they are saying they can't access, let them meet our librarians. They will be able to guide them, but all these resources are available. Thank you so much for listening. I want us to have a break of 5 minutes before we switch to referencing. Thank you. you need to use here. If I'm using my personal computer or office computer, which I use my alone, I'll stay signed in. So this is my Mendeley page. And then it will ask for citation plugin for Microsoft Word. I'll click on the button install now. I'm installing the Mendeley. Then I'll click on the close button. And they are telling you that you can add and create, import documents and folders to your library or create new entries manually. So we've imported online, you've seen that. Then they are telling us we have the cloud and the local storage. So where we've been practicing before that is the cloud, and where we are going is the local. And then it also has the help button. So when we come here in our account, remember I created online faculty of law. It was not there. The moment I click on faculty of law, you can see my results are there already because it has synchronized automatically, because by the time I did it, the computer where the account is open on Mendy desktop, it is also connected online. So my items are here. So the moment I click on them, I'll be able to view the bibliographic information. Then sometimes Mendeley picks some information, sometimes it leaves out some info. So you can be able to edit here the bibliographic information of your item, for especially if I'm able to get it as a PDF. So here I'll just double click on it as well. And then you can see what I highlighted when I was online. It has remained as it is. The note which I placed in there is still there. So when I look at the title of the article, the author, yes, they've written the author well, the journal is okay. It's volume 43, issue 1. And then they are telling me how I'm supposed to cite the article. So they are giving me this information, how the article can be cited, and then the link to this article. You remember online we talked about the DOI. So this is what you can share with the students, and then they download the article themselves. So even here, when we are offline, because now I'm using Mendy desktop when I'm offline, still I can highlight. I can say I'm going to use the pink color, and then I'll go to highlight here, select the text, and then I'll highlight it. Then we have on the menu, we have sync. In full it is synchronous. I'll click on it and then it will synchronize. So when I go to my Mendeley Cloud account, still it will be there indicating that I highlighted this text using the pinky color. I can put a note. You can zoom depending on your site. The words might be too small for your site, so you can always zoom so that it can fit the page. Then there are scenarios where we have print materials. When we go to files, you can add files. Those are PDFs. The moment you click on add, it will take you to your online, rather to your desktop or to your computer. And then you pick the PDFs which you would have downloaded elsewhere, which you didn't get through web importer. For example, this morning I was able to download some few. I'll go to downloads. Oh, okay, downloaded one only. So I'll click on this one and then open. It will automatically go into faculty of law because in this middle panel, it is faculty of law folder which is active. If it was engineering stuff, you'll find that it is engineering. If I click on business, I'll find their business. Now, under the folders here, faculty of law, I can decide to create subfolders. Sorry. Create new folders here and call one criminal law based on the questions we have this semester. Then I'll still go back, create another, call it legal methods. Then I'll go back still, create another folder, call it the Bible and the law, because those are the course units which students are having this semester. Okay. So now these folders, they are within the faculty of law, but I can generate materials in here. And whatever folder I click on, it will display here. And then I'll go to files and add in. You can add a full folder. You would have downloaded materials on the Bible and the law. At the moment you click on folder, to take you to your computer, and then you select which folder you want to upload there. Then you can add entry manually. Now this manual, it works with the prints we have in the library. They can be journal articles, they can be bills, it can be a book. Book section is the same as a book chapter. It can be a case. So students shouldn't tell you that they are unable to use this because it is used for only books. No, they are bills, they are cases, their hearings. We have patents, we have newspapers, magazines, statutes. So all those mainly can help you. Now, if these are in print, the moment you click on it, the template will slightly change. When you look at a statute, it has a title, it has author, year, pages. However, the difference for it, it has a code, it has a code number, it has a country, public law number, source, and then statute number. Yet, if I'd selected a book, it's a different scenario. Of course, similarly, it will have a title, author, year, and pages as the statute. But when you move down here, for it, it has the city, the edition, the editors, if they are there, the publisher, the URL address, if the book has an online link, the DOI, the ISBN. So you have to be careful to select the right template based on the item you are holding in print. So I'll enter one item here. It's not a law book because I'm not in the law library today, but I'm going to enter a physical book here. The load is on my side. I was able to get a book on the legal and regulatory environment of business. That's some legal element. Now, when you are entering a book, there's what we call a title page and what we call a verso title page. Let me share video here. Okay. This is our book, but generally this is a cover. We don't pick the title or the details of the book from the cover, but we go straight to the title page of the book. That's where we pick the details from. And then we pick also other details at the verso title page. That is the page behind the title page. So this title is the legal and regulatory environment of business. And then the authors, we have so those are the authors. Then the year of publication, it is 2008. You pick the latest copyright here, and then the pages, every book runs from page 1, and then the last page of this book, including the indexes, the glossaries, ends at page 664. Then the abstract, the tag are not so important. The key author keywords are not so important. City of publication. On the title page, we have so many places of publication, but we usually pick the first one. We are supposed to pick the first place. And then edition, you don't generate if it doesn't have. This one has. It is 14th edition. And then editors doesn't have. Publisher, it is published by McGraw Hill. Doesn't have the URL address. It doesn't have the DOI, but it has the ISBN. So I'll pick the ISBN without putting in spaces. And then I'll save. Remember, it's going to be saved under the folder, the Bible and the law, because that's what I'd selected. So there is my item. So you can be able to even upload the manually, the references. So on the last part now, after generating all this, is how to cite it in your work. But before we go there, we have other areas here like edit, view, tools, and so on. When you go to tools, you can see install web importer. We did it. Uninstall MS Word plugin. We're not going to do so because we've already installed it. But when we go to view, is what we call the citation styles. By default, it will pick APA, which is the 7th edition. But for law, I understand you use OSCOLA, Oxford University Standard for Citation of Legal Authorities. So it is there. But as a first-time user, you will not find it there. You will go to most styles and then you will search for it. And usually when you are doing this search, you should be online. And then it will update the list and OSCOLA will be added, because by default, OSCOLA is not indicated when you've just installed the Mendeley tool. So now, because we are going to use OSCOLA, I'll come here and select it immediately. I'll not leave APA, because when I leave APA, in my Word document, APA is the one which is going to be reflected, but I want the other side when it is OSCOLA. So I'll select OSCOLA, and that is what I'll confirm, yes. And then I'll open a Word document. As the file opens, also what I wanted to let you know that after uploading the manual items, when we are on the Mendeley page, we can go to files and click on synchronize library, or if you don't do that, you go to the icon for sync, and then it will synchronize with your Mendeley Cloud account. So it will update. So all these folders which were not in the online account, they are going to be there. Criminal law, legal methods, the Bible and law. So the Bible and law will have only one item. So they will be reflected the other side. Now this helps you how? That even if you switch to another new computer, so long as you have your login details, you'll be in position to access your reference materials as well. So in other words, it acts as storage, that even all your PDFs you've uploaded, you'll be able to access them elsewhere. So now let us try to do an assignment. Oh, I capital letters. Let's try to do an assignment, a small one. Okay. Now, when you are here, you have to put the cursor where you want your citation to be. And then you go to the main, to the home, then you move to references. The moment you move to references, it will show you the Mendeley icon. And it has insert citation, insert bibliography, open Mendeley. Open Mendeley, usually it opens your Mendeley desktop if it's not open. Then citation style. When you look here, OSCOLA is already reflected because it's the one which we selected the other side. So now we are going to click on insert citation. Then if I'm not so sure of the item, I'll click on go to Mendeley and it will take me here to my Mendeley desktop. Then I'll select this item and then click on the icon above the word cite, and it has cited it. For the councils, for you know very well how you cite by footnotes. So it will indicate a footnote there. Then I'll go to another paragraph. I'll click on insert, I'll insert citation, go to Mendeley, come here, and then I'll select maybe Sopa and maybe Swan. Click on insert. Then I'll go to another citation here. This time round, I'm going to type in Bant, L.C. Peterson, and so on. Let me type in Bant. Let me go back here. Insert citation. This time I know the author. I'll say Bant. And then I'll click on Bant. Then there was Patterson, okay? And then I'll go into Bant, click in Bant and indicate the pages. Maybe I've read from page 34 to page 36. I'll do the same. Oh, this is the same. They are the same, it's the same item. Okay. Then I'll click OK. So are you seeing this, members? It has already generated a footnote of references here because a scholar, this is how it works. So at the end of my essay, okay. I say references and then insert bibliography. It will still generate them. But we know very well in law, we use footnotes. So it has created footnotes for this particular page. However, I can be able to generate also the reference list. Now, for a particular file, the moment you click on Insert Bibliography, if it's a working document and you are not yet done with it, you don't need to keep on clicking on Insert Bibliography because it will keep on regenerating this reference list and then duplicating it. Now, if you have another item you want to enter in, for example, let me say there's another citation I want to bring in here. I'll go here, who remained? I don't select that. And then in the footnote, still it will be updated here. And then when I go to the references, still it will be updated. So that's how Mendeley can help you to do the in-text citation and even the referencing. Thank you for listening. If you have any question, you can ask before we get a 5 minutes break, and then we switch to the last module of the plagiarism tool. Any question? Are we moving together? Okay. All right. I think we are at par. Oh, there's something here. All right. Thank you so much, Council Robinson. Saying we are at par. Okay, let's have a 5 minutes break. Take a glass of water, and then we shall look at the last segment or last module. It's It's going to take on around 20 minutes, and then we shall call this training to an end. Thank you. Okay, let us resume and look at the last part of the session. We are now going to look at a plagiarism tool which the university subscribes to. And this is called the drill bit. I've shared the link in the chat for drill bit. So the moment you come to this page, you click on Get Started and select Institutional Login. So the moment you click on Institutional Login, first of all, I'll go to the admin account because I want us to appreciate that the service has not been utilized, but still we can pick up and utilize it. So when you move to admin portal, this is what we have. The statistics are very low. The university paid for 300 licenses for lecturers and then 400 accounts for students. But you can see they've been underutilized. So then the system will also generate what has been submitted. Others is more. Then we have projects, we have dissertations, we have articles, we have assignments, thesis, research papers. And then it will also indicate the departments which have utilized the service. So computing, that is faculty of Computer Science and Computing. So far currently it's taking the lead. Then you come to the library, others, and other faculties, and so on, and departments. So that's how the result, that's what the results indicate, that the service has not been utilized. But now to go back to the real business, when you have an account as an instructor, now this is for the lecturers, not students. What the page you are viewing, it's for the lecturer. The moment you come to this page when we've created for you an account, you share your email addresses and the institutional email addresses with the administrative assistant or the assistant AR, who will share them with us, and then we shall create for your accounts. And then you'll have to activate your account within 24 hours. So we shall be notifying you when you share those details. Because faculty of law, none of you is registered here. So now when you come to your account as a lecturer, in the right-hand bottom, there is what we call create a class. Now, create a class, that is the course unit you teach. For example, we have legal methods, which is going to be taught by the dean, or which is lecturing now this semester. The description, you can put a description, maybe it's year 1, semester 2. Okay. Expiry, this semester will be ending in May. So I can put maybe 29th May, and then I'll create a class. That is for that particular course unit. You can be in position to edit, but you may not be in position to edit the class. You can edit the rest. Okay. And then you click on the class, and we go back to the right-hand corner in the bottom. Thank you, Emma. For the emails, it's the digits, but for us, we can create your accounts to use this platform. Thank you for that. clarification. So now I was saying that after clicking on the legal methods as a class, it will take you a page where you have assignments and then you have students. So when you click on students, as a lecturer, you'll go to the plus sign in the extreme bottom corner, click on the plus sign, add a student. You can add one by one, or you can add multiple. When you click to add multiple, you'll have to download a template. And this template guides you on what is supposed to, what you are subjected to, including the template. So you need the student ID, email address, department, section, phone number for students. Then if you have few students, like our faculty has few students, you can add one by one. Student name, email address, ID, department, section. Phone number is not so important. The other ones are ones which are so important. And then after that, you go to create account. Because unless when you create account for students here, they will not be able to submit their work for plagiarism check. So when we go to assignments, you come to the same icon here, and then you create an assignment. For example, it can be a group assignment, and they are doing it for a month. And you'd like them to submit from today, which is 24th, until 24th of March, if you are giving them a full month. And then you can choose instructions. If you have a file which has instructions how they should work on the group, then you select a file here and upload it there, which indicates the instructions of the assignment. Then there are assignment settings here, which I want us to look at clearly. Allow assignment grading. If you say yes, it will grade for you, meaning you have to put a pass mark. Okay? Then you also have to, if you want to exclude the bibliographies, then it's not giving a point why you are trying to check the plagiarism, because usually you want even to check their references. But sometimes if it's not necessary, you say yes, and then they are excluded. Exclude quotes means you don't want to check their quotes. Exclude small sources, they will ask you how many words. And then if you don't want that and you want the system to check everything, you leave it like that. Save to repository. If you say yes, scope, repository, that is the ViroBit repository, and we have an account as an institution. If you say institution, it will save students' work in there. So if you're a lecturer who keeps on giving the same assignment every academic year, and the students sometimes want to copy each other, you realize that some of them are getting 100% plagiarized work because you selected save to the repository and the work is saved there. Allow resubmissions. If you want them to resubmit, how many times as they check their work, so that they can submit the right work. Okay. Just a minute. I'm sorry about that interruption. So if you need them to submit maybe 3 times or 2 times as they check their work, you select number of resubmissions and you say yes. So they will be checking maybe 3 times, that is within the 24 hours, so that they can improve on their work. Allow submission after the due date. That is if you believe they will not abuse it. And you add them extra days and so on. If you know they will abuse it, you leave it at no. Then daily submission limits. How many times should they submit in a day? You can also limit that. And then compare against databases. So it will compare under different databases like student papers which are published elsewhere, journals and publishers. Those are materials published in other databases or the databases we looked at first, or on the web, and then the institution repository. That's the other repository which I talked about if you select it and the work is saved there. Then after doing all that, you submit, because those are the changes you've made as a lecturer. Then when students visit their account, they will go to the assignment here, and then they will upload. If it's non-English, they select. If it's in English, they select. You browse, and then you pick a file. I have any file here. Pick a file. You give it any title. I can call it an article, and then submit. So it's going to give us a grammar quality report. It's going to give us the AI score report and the similarity report. Usually at international level, plagiarism similarity for undergraduates, it shouldn't exceed 30% and above. And then for masters, 20 and above shouldn't, and then PhD, it's usually 10 and below. But it shouldn't be below 6%. That is for similarity. And different institutions have come up with the policies. They have policies on plagiarism. We are in the pipeline developing one for Ndege University, a plagiarism policy, which can guide. AI, the dean is aware. We are coming up with the AI policy, but at international level, they are just guidelines. No institution has come up with a policy. So that one is in the hands of the supervisor or the lecturer to judge. Even the similarity, it's you to judge. For example, if it gives 50% plagiarized work, then for you as a supervisor or lecturer, you should be able to sit down and check clear and find out whether really this student plagiarized before he or she can be penalized or sent back to redo the work. Especially when you are giving them open book assignments or when they are working on different projects. So let's wait for the report. Shall interpret the reports, and that will mark the end of the session. Now, Council Robinson, you raised concern about the percentages. As I said earlier, that at international level, usually bachelor's it is 30%, beg my pardon, master's 20%, and PhD 10%. However, some universities adjust it and they put it higher, whereby PhDs some are at 15 or 20, bachelor's they raise them to 35 or 40, and then masters 25 or 30. So it depends on the institution, but the most popular percentages which are used by universities at international level, it is 10, 20, 30%. But again, it shouldn't be below 6%. Taking long. It shouldn't take this long because the file I uploaded is 1 page. But let me go back here. Let me look at what is already done and demonstrate for you. But usually it should display like this, okay? So when you come here, similarity, it's giving 9%. So if a student was a PhD student, would be okay. Masters, bachelor's will be okay. When you look at this other manuscript here, it's 25%. If he's an undergraduate, it will be okay. Masters will tell him or her, then make some small changes. This one is 40. It keeps on changing the colors. There are color differences depending on the similarity report. So let's open this one for, no, let's open the similarity report. We have a look at it here. Loading. taking long. Okay, now the simulated report was taking long. Let's first look at the AI. The AI score is it's 21%. And then for it, it will just highlight the text which it has discovered that the student just copied it and pasted it in there without any paraphrasing. So all the highlighted text you are seeing, AI is indicating that it is 21%. Then if you want to generate the report, you can generate the report. The same applies with the similarities taking long. Then also the grammar percentage, which looks at the phrases, the punctuations, the content, how it is indexed, and so on. So this is a grammar. For it to give you percentages, unique words, rare words, common words, word length, sentence length, and so on. So it is quite huge because it categorizes the different words and sentences. And then they will show you different lines which need changes. So even this one, if you need a grammar report, you can download it. They download in PDF. Then the similarity, I don't know why it's taking long. It's Okay, we thank God it has opened, however much it took long. So when you look at the corner here, in the right-hand corner, we have satisfactory, which is 0 to 10%, upgrade 11 to 40%, poor 41 to 60%, unacceptable 61 to 100. Then the primary sources. So the student looked at a report, a dissertation or a publication under this repository of Shotgang. But he also looked at some materials in Chambogo. This is not Chambogo. This is Kenya, university in Kenya. Then also there are publications indicated from KwaZulu-Natal University, and then something from academia, which is an internet data. And then there are different internet data, and then some are from publication. Those some are journals, some are repositories. So it's listing all this, but the similarity is a 9%. Now, when you come to the real work, it will show you it will show you the content. And then the moment you click on it, it will give you exactly where it was picked. So this sky blue, was picked from consisciatbeam.com, which is internet data. When you click on this qualitative data, it was picked from paramedic perception and educational needs. But they are all 1%. And then as you continue, it will highlight the chapters because by default they are in there. When you go to other text here, it keeps on indicating where the text was picked. It gives you the matches that this information comes from here. Now this yellow is coming from elearning.com. It's a publishing house, and so on and so forth. So now when you are here, you can download it. You can download a PDF. You can download a summary report. So let's first download a summary report and we have a look at it. So this is a summary report of an abstract, and it indicates for you student papers, journal publication, internet. So which comes up, meaning that journal publications carry 6.53%, and then internet carries 2.37%, which brings us to a similarity of 9. And then if a student checked with a different student, you'll still know, because the emails here, it will indicate that generically it will indicate the email of the submitter. However much the author is also there. So that is the summary report. But if you need a full report, still you go back and then you download a full report. That is the full document. You'll be able to download it. So generally, that's how Drillbit works, and that's how we can be able to utilize it. And it will give you all these details. So it's upon you, the lecturer, to judge whether the student has done the right thing or has done it not in the right way. I want to thank you so much for your time. We've been here for 2 hours and 20 minutes. May the Lord bless you as you continue serving in this great institution. God bless you. And if you have any questions from what all we've looked at, the 3 different modules, Feel free to ask before we close. Thank you. All right. There are no any questions.